Hello, I am Pastor Horace Douty, near Lexington, Virginia, coming to you by way of YouTube, and each Sunday morning I bring you a sermon from the Bible. Today, the title of the sermon is A Wise Man Admits His Limits. I encourage you to go to Horace Douty YouTube and click on like and click on subscribe and the little bell, which will remind you when I'm on. And share these videos with your family and your friends. I appreciate that. The Book of Proverbs in the Bible was reputedly written by King Solomon, who is to this day noted for his unusual and uncommon wisdom. The book makes for interesting reading. Most of the Proverbs ring true. As with the teachings of Jesus, they help provide a roadmap for abundant, happy living. We are surprised when this wise man lists a few things he does not understand. We are more fortunate. We have science. We have technology. We can set him straight. First on his list is the way of an eagle in the sky. We no longer marvel. We understand riding on air. Airplanes and spacecraft outstripped birds many years ago. No mystery there. And the next item is how a snake moves upon a rock. No visible legs, no fins, no wings, and yet the serpent glides from point A to point B. How? Well, Solomon, we continue. Our slow motion cameras show exactly how the snake's ribs ripple and against the surface of the rock or any surface, propelling him forward, even upward, when he decides to climb a tree. Simple dynamics. The way of a ship upon the ocean. Now come on, Solomon. Surely you realize how the sun by day and the stars by night guide any navigator, even in your time and before. And now we have great floating hotels which can speed through the ocean with direction unfailingly provided by global positioning, satellites, and by inertial navigation. Beside such a monstrous vessel, your little boat looks like a peanut hull. We understand how to find our way. Finally, the wise man lists his last item of mystery, the way of a man with a maiden. Well, how in the world is that so wonderful? You primitive people made too much of romantic love, with your poems and your music, your marriage ceremonies and your rituals. Well, sir, we've moved on. When it comes to sex, we have Masters and Johnson cataloging every detail with electrodes and sensing devices. We provide early education for our children about it, the way of a man with a maid, complete with pictures that most of you have not seen in your lifetime. And then marriage. Come on, man, it's no longer necessary. Coupling is the most ordinary impulse in nature. There's nothing complicated there. We're far ahead of you, Solomon. Now, without question, we do know more about how things work, but we may not be as wise as we think. A sense of wonder is a blessing. To discard romance and curiosity is to limit the pleasure of living. Technology is wonderful, but smartphones and computers do not provide the only way to wisdom. A walk in the woods can flood your consciousness with vibrant information, and everybody knows it is far healthier than gazing at a screen. This sermon, as well as my nature lessons, I offer in defense of wonder. Modern science is on my side. For centuries, we relied on the church to fill in those gaps about mystical doctrines and experiences. And today, Quantum science is tackling questions long avoided by physicists because the subject was too complicated and too religious. Breathtaking knowledge is opening daily new dimensions which sound very much like the teachings of religion, especially the teaching of Jesus. He spoke of a mysterious kingdom of heaven. And in today's laboratories, reluctant scientists are encountering that very kingdom. They are studying something called consciousness as part of physics. The discoveries are upsetting long-held laws of physics. Believe it or not, there is a dimension which can be tested in the lab where things can be in two places at once, where some actions are faster than the speed of light, where human consciousness can affect objects and other people far away, instantaneously. Unlike many pastors, I am making a deliberate effort to understand quantum physics. I may never succeed because the findings go against all conventional wisdom and common sense. And by the way, so did some of Jesus' affirmations. And yet not a single axiom of quantum science has ever been disproved, in spite of the diligent efforts of brilliant thinkers. You are living in a wonderful age when religion and science are coming back together after centuries of conflict. Your ancestors were encouraged to accept many mysteries on blind faith. Today, faith need not be blind. It has finally entered the laboratory, and we are better for it. Solomon did not have access to knowledge that we take for granted. However, we don't know everything. There are a number of questions yet to be answered. One glaring example is dark matter. What is it? We don't know, and yet we know that it comprises 90% of all creation. We don't really know what it is. We're like Solomon. There are some things we don't understand. Now, every one of you is guided by something we call consciousness. Even though it has finally entered the laboratory, nobody yet has explained where it comes from. The Bible constantly mentions something called soul. And I am pleased to see today's scientists addressing the power and the mystery of soul. Religious faith has been so ridiculed, we hesitate to admit our position. People who go to church are often seen as simple-minded, wishful thinkers. Every day, I wonder why. It has been repeatedly proven that going to church lengthens your life. There's nothing ridiculous about that. And why is it hidden? We're deluged with every sort of new diet or lifestyle promising good health, but how often do you hear how religious faith is a miracle drug? You don't. It should cause you to shout from the rooftops and dance in the streets. But you do go to church, some of you, and mysterious things happen there, things not yet explained by science. Your soul, unaccustomed to attention, stirs within you. Jesus promised he could provide you with peace which the world cannot give nor take away. You can feel it happen, and it is good. You recognize that life is more than work or play or deadlines or data. You give attention to other dimensions, the kingdom of heaven. You realize it is real, and it is within you, just as Jesus said. Our Lord encouraged wonder and curiosity. He said very clearly, "Consider the lilies of the field, how they are decked out more lavishly than King Solomon in all his glory. And the birds in the air, they neither sow nor reap." Some of the instructions of Jesus seem difficult. When he said, "Bless those who persecute you," that's difficult. But on this winter day, when nature is so eager to burst forth and bring springtime, you can easily obey one of Christ's commands. You can step outside. You can examine the birds and the bright buds and blossoms in their exuberance. You can wonder at the flight of a raven, the twist of a serpent, the ventures into space, and the sweetness of love, human love. And precisely as Jesus said, these wonders of earth may actually open for you the window of heaven. Give it a try every day.